Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin and I'm with the Imagine America Foundation. Me on today's session of Imagine America Radio is my foundation colleague, Lee Doubleday. Lee and I are very excited about today's topic, the overlooked value of technical school certificates, sponsored by Universal Technical Institutes, or UTI. UTI is this country's leading provider of high quality career-focused education at 16 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 21-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 16,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation to our website, www.imagine-america.org.
Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country, desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation again is Universal Technical Institute, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background. But before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, with question and answers at the end of the presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A feature in this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, I'll then present any questions offered by the participants, and we'll address as many as possible and provide written responses and follow-up emails if necessary. We will have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. to be respectful of your time. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Bob and Lee, and welcome everyone. Thank you for spending part of your afternoon with me. So let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about UTI. I don't want to talk too much about it, but we are the leading provider of technicians in the transportation industry. We have now 16 campuses nationwide. For so long, I would say 12 campuses, but we now have added 2 new campuses at our in Austin and then in our Miramar, South Florida area. And then we have acquired MIAT, which is Michigan Institute of Aeronautic Technology, with campuses in Cant, Michigan, and Houston, Texas. So I proudly say 16 campuses now. But I talk about the nationwide training for a reason. First of all, we're well known nationwide. You'd be hard pressed to walk into a dealership and say UTI, and they wouldn't know who you're talking about. But more importantly than that is the fact that when our students graduate, this gives them a huge advantage over their students, simply because we have that nationwide presence. So if they graduate from Florida or from Texas, they can go to other parts of the country and work too. So it opens up so many more avenues for them to get into the career pathway that they've chosen. We teach in, I've said for so long, 8 STEM careers, but we've now created 16 with the addition of MIAT. But the 8 base programs are auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. You look at those, you think, well, how could I fit in there? There's literally hundreds of careers within these 8. We get all the time a student, they love cars. They want to be around cars, like everything about cars, but they don't see themselves really working on them, turning wrenches. So is there something for them in this industry? Absolutely. One example would be they could go to work for an insurance company as a claims adjuster. Insurance companies love to have our graduates because when you hit a deer, you see all the dents and dings on the outside. That's pretty easy. But what you don't see are all of the sensors and computer components that are damaged on the inside. Your car looks beautiful. You get in, you start up, and the check engine light's on. So, that's where someone who's a trained technician would know to look for those things. So that's just one example. And there are many, many more too, but great opportunities. And then I love showing this screen. These are our industry relationships. We have over 35 industry partners, along with the hundreds of other partners too. But these are really the what I call the big dogs of the industry. This is who we're training for. I say often that we're not training students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing them to go to work for BMW, for Toyota, for GM, for Ford, Peterbilt, just to name a few of the companies. But this is an important relationship that we have with the industry. These are strong, stable companies. They pay well, and they're starved for technicians. So that's who we're training our students for, so that when they graduate, they have a place to go. So now I want to get into talking about you and talking about your relationship with students, your relationship with parents. That's a big one. And of course, just with each other as educators. So I want to start off first talking about skills. To succeed in the modern economy today, that's what employers are looking for: skills. What do you bring to the table? What can you do? It's one thing, you can have all kinds of degrees or whatever, but what are you going to do with them? What do you bring to the table? There are two types of skills. Oftentimes, if I say skills, you're going to think of hard skills. You're going to think of, oh yeah, that student knows how to, work on a car, work on a motorcycle. They know how to lay brick. They know how to plumb. They know how to weld. I can go on and on. And those are important, no doubt about it. But going hand in hand with that are the soft skills, the general education application skills, the people skills. Like customer service. That's a skill. Hey, where's that gone? You've been out to eat or gone to a store, something like that. It seems like customer service went by the wayside somewhere. But those are important skills. And like at UTI, we can train a student how to work on cars, how to work on trucks. That's great. But they have to be able to convey that information to their customer. They're going to have to go out into that waiting room, and because that a man or woman sitting out there worried about what's wrong with their car, and you have to go out and say, hey, I found what's wrong. Here's what it'll take to fix it, and here's how much it's going to cost. And then give them options on what they could do. They could do this, they could do that. That's important too. So when you think of skills, remember, both are necessary, both the hard skills and the soft skills, to be successful in today's economy. A statistic that might really surprise you: nearly all certificate programs, 94% to be exact, and nearly 3 out of 5 associate degrees, 57% to be exact, are awarded in career-oriented fields. That may surprise you, because you think your students are going off to college, that they're getting a bachelor's degree. That's what you automatically think. You'd be wrong. Some are, but many are going for different reasons. Students today, what they're like. They're I want it now people, all right? They Snapchat, they Instagram, they text. They don't email. They don't mail. They don't even hardly talk on their telephones. Everything is instant now, quick. They don't want entry level. They want middle management. That's the way these students are built today. They don't see themselves going to school for 4, 5, or 6 years. Some will, because their career pathway is taken them that way, but some will not. They're looking for a something quicker. About 50% of students taking undergraduate coursework are enrolled in certificate and associate degree programs, just solidifying what I just said. These students, they know they need skills. They know they need some type of education, but they don't want to sit in class very long. They want to get out, get after it. They want to get into a career where they can make some money, because they have dreams too. They want to have a house someday. They want to have their own car. They want to have a family, all those. So that's why it's so important to remember that these certificate and associate degree programs are just as valuable as the bachelor. It's just what that particular student is looking for, what they need to achieve their goals and ambitions. When you're looking for a technical certificate program for your students or for your own kids, there's 3 things that you need to look for. Number 1, industry relationships. Number 2, occupationally focused curriculum. And number 3, employment assistance. Let's go back through those one at a time. Industry relationships. That's what I just showed you just a few slides ago. That partnering that we do. And I would encourage you, if you are not using industry in your schools, that's a big miss, because industry wants to partner with you. I promise you they do, because they're going to want employees. So they want to get their hook in these kids early. So there's nothing wrong with reaching out to industry. We do. We work with industry all the time. We have industry days at dealerships. We invite students and parents to come in so they can see what a dealership is like today. I often joke that used to be you might get a bottle of water, now you get a glass of champagne when you're waiting for your car. I mean, it's just gone to a different level. Occupationally focused curriculum. That's important because you're giving employers what they want. They're looking for skills. And the occupationally focused curriculum is very important, but it's also important to students too. I remember getting my first master's degree and I was taking 20th century world literature. Had nothing really to do with my master's degree at all, but it was part of the curriculum. It was a liberal arts school, so I was going to have to take it no matter what. But these kids today, they're just not about that. They want specifics. And then finally, employment assistance. Why are students going to school in the first place? Because they want to get into a career. They want to get into something they love to do and want to do, something they're good at. And these three go hand in hand with each other. It's very tough to have good employment assistance if you don't have those industry relationships. And that with the industry relationships, what those service managers are looking for is the occupationally focused curriculum. So to have those relationships, they want to know what our students know when they come out of our schools. And so these three go hand in hand with each other, and they're very important for you to keep in mind when you're looking for certificate programs. Now, I'm going to change gears here for just a second and talk to you about a program that we're really excited about, and it's called Ignite Worldwide. Ignite is an acronym, Inspiring Girls Now in Technology Evolution. What this is so exciting because it's opening doors for girls that the door just wasn't open before. I always say there's a big party going on and only the guys were invited for some reason. Half the population is female, yet only a small percentage of females are involved in STEM trades. It's sad to see, like for instance, at UTI, our female population is about 4.5%. And so we want to do something about that. I love their mantra. You can't be what you can't see. Think about that. When's the last time you saw a female welder, female auto tech or a diesel tech, a female plumber, a female carpenter? Or when you're driving down the road and they're working on the highways or bridges or something, how many females do you see? And if you do see one, it's usually the one holding the flag, for directing traffic, which, I mean, that's important, but you don't see them actually doing the work. And then also when you see one, it's like it's a novelty, like, oh, look, they got a girl working for them. Wow. It should be a reality. We should see more and more. But as the mantra says, you can't be what you can't see. So what we've done is we've partnered, we went with Kathy Rajveller, who's the CEO and founder of Ignite Worldwide. In fact, we just had some conversations with her just recently talking about our partnership and ways we want to partner even more with them. She started this back in 1998 in the Seattle schools, and it's grown over the past several years into a very rewarding program. It's 4 parts. Number one, we formed these women in STEM panels for these girls to talk to women that are already in STEM trades, to ask them questions. Now, they're questions that, they're not real technical questions like, hey, how did you do it? Did you get made fun of? Did you feel weird going into these kind of trades like that? They're going to ask those kind of questions because they want to know, and they don't have anywhere else to ask. So what we do is we host these at our campus. We've had 3 live where we had no less than 100 girls at every one of them. And on the 15th, we're going to host a virtual one. So if you'd like more information about that, reach out, please. But, just to give them a chance to see or to talk to women in STEM. And then the field trips, bring them to our campus. That allows them to get to see a true STEM school in action so they can see how we train techs. They can see there are girls there, not as many as we'd like, but there's still girls there. But we also encourage them to go to other companies and visit other STEM fields too, to see what else is out there. Then 3, we have workshops. How do they know if they're good at something or if they would like something if they've never gotten to do it before? So we have them do welding simulators. We have them do electronic circuit boards and things so they can experiment to see what they might like, what they might be good at. I've had school counselors do that when I host LDIs. I have them do things like that, hands-on stuff, and they have a blast with it. They've never got to do stuff like that before. So it's really fun for them to get to do that. And then finally, we encourage them to go to conferences and go to breakout sessions and get to be around other girls like them. So they'll see that, they're not weird or different just because they want to do that. There are other girls out there just like them that want to experience these too. They've gotten a lot of national acclaim from the National Science Foundation, the Anita Borg Social Impact, Department of Education, among others. So this is really catching on. One statistic that really caught our eye, though, is on this slide. In 2013, a study was done in the Seattle schools. Less than 5% of girls were involved in STEM classes. Within 3 years, that number grew to over 50%. It's astounding, but yet it isn't. I mean, it should be all that surprising because, like I said, you can't be what you can't see. They've never experienced it before. And then when they finally got to, they liked it and then the number jumped. So we're excited about this too, because we're hoping that's what's going to happen with UTI and with other trade schools as well, that these girls are going to see, hey, I can do this. I want to do this. I like to do this. And so I want the opportunity, to get into these STEM trades. We do a lot to help students to get resources to make their dreams happen. Education is not cheap, at all nowadays, and so we have to help students to make that possible. So we work with student groups like FFA, Hot Rodders of Tomorrow, Skills USA, Top Tech Challenge, just to name a few, where we offer scholarships and grants, and they're in competitions, things along those lines. And it's proven to be very valuable. Students, they not only can win scholarships, they can actually add scholarships on top of other scholarships, so that by the time they're graduating high school, they may have several $1,000s in scholarships that they've earned to go to school. We also work with foundations like Imagine America. Imagine America, as Bob and Lee told you, we have a 21-year history with them. We've passed out thousands of scholarships to students to help them make their education more affordable. But the other thing that we love about Imagine America is that we get to partner with them through webinars and podcasts like what we're doing right here to give us a chance to get the word out to educators about what we do, but also what's going on in the industry, and to give you ideas and examples of things that you can follow through on too. And then finally, we love to partner with industry. I told you this earlier, so I wanted to give you an example. Last November, we displayed with AGCO Corporation, and specifically with Fendt tractors. We had two huge booths. One was 40 by 80, the other was 10 by 40. We had 3 tractors, we had a rogator, we had a planter in there. I mean, it was amazing. But what it did, it showed students and advisors how industry and education go hand in hand with each other. It's hard to have one without the other. Because they could come to our booth and, they could go talk to Fendt. Fendt says, yes, if you want to come work for us, UTI offers a training program that you could get your training there and then come to work for us. So great opportunities for students to make their education more affordable to reach their dreams. Now, we offer over $15 million in scholarships and grants. But my question I ask to all groups I speak to, can anybody help me on how to get students to fill out scholarships? Because as you know, it's very difficult. You experience it every day at your schools. So what we're excited about is our Tuition Reimbursement Incentive Program, or TRIP. This program allows students an opportunity to earn their education. We have hundreds and hundreds of dealerships across the country, including in Florida, that offer these type of packages, anywhere from $10,000 up to $50,000. This includes things like student loan repayment assistance, hiring incentive packages, tool purchase assistance, sign-on bonuses, tenure bonuses, boot allowances. I can go on and on. What are these dealerships doing? they're trying to make their dealership stand out among all the others. They all need technicians. That's a given. So they're all after the same techs. So you got to make your dealership look better than anybody else's. So you offer these packages. But like I said, they have to earn this. This is not something that these dealerships are just going to pass out. Go, oh, here you go. Here's some money for you. Oh, here's some for you. They're looking for the best. So they're going to look at attendance. They're going to look at professionalism. They're going to look at their grades. They're going to look at their work ethic, all these. But boy, if a student is willing to work hard and get in there, the payoff is huge, because it can literally whittle your education costs down to nothing. But as I said, you've got to earn it. You've got to be willing to get in there and do it. Two key takeaways today. Takeaway number one, high school counselors and educators can strengthen all post-secondary education pathways, including certificate programs. It's a fancy way to say this is no longer plan B. This is no longer the backup plan. This is the plan for some of your students. We have to stop this of, well, if it didn't work out for vet school, you can always be a plumber. Yeah, you can always be a welder. No, these are high skilled positions. This isn't just somebody going out and doing something. I mean, a lot of people maybe could go weld, but then there becomes those that are really good at welding. They're, that's the difference here. That's where the skills come in. So that's why it's important that we support these students in what they want to do rather than trying to talk them out of it. This also helps them with parents too, because parents want to see their kids succeed, and they see that the kids that are going to the colleges and universities and getting their Rhodes Scholar and getting all these things, or their football scholarships, they're getting all kinds of recognition. We have to make sure these kids are getting recognition too. They want to go on to cosmetology school, or going on to some form of trade school for auto or diesel or welding or whatever like that. So that we have to make sure we help students to understand. When you have a college fair, change that name, call it a career fair. That way everybody feels like they're involved. If you call it a college fair, they're thinking, well, this is only for students going to the college or university. Remember, perception is everything. So make sure you're including all your students and give them all their just dues. And then number two, higher education leaders are instrumental in enabling students to acquire education beyond high school. You need skills. Some students will go to work right after high school and they'll be successful, right? Hats off to them. If that's what they want to do and they've got a pathway to go, then they can do it. But employers are looking for skills, and it's highly competitive. So the more skills you have, the more marketable you are, the more money you can make. So that's why I talk a lot about certificate programs and diploma programs, as well as associate degree programs. Those are skills that you're gaining to go to work in the field. So don't ever downplay the fact that skills are very much needed in today's world to succeed in the workforce. I'm a retired educator. I know exactly what you guys do. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. So I know what takes place. I know that you're talking to students about career readiness and career pathways. I know you're talking to students about scholarships and grants that they can get. I know you're talking to them about supply and demand in different industries and things like that. So how can we help you? We just want to partner with you. We want to work with you any way we can. As we come into South Florida to start working there with students down in that area, like we do up in the Orlando area, that's what we have open houses. So you can come in. We love for not only students, but we want the parents to come too. And we want educators to come, counselors, administrators. We want everybody to come, so that we can show what we do. But we'll also come to you. We do complimentary scholarships. My colleague, Jerry Elner, always says that our buffet of opportunities. I love that. And we do have a large buffet, but we offer career readiness, career pathways, STEM workshops that we can do in a class period. And like I said, they're free. I know what your budgets are like. You don't have one. So we'd be glad to work with you on that. We also host events at campus, at dealerships. And once again, showing that how industry and education go together. So we do that as well. We talk about our scholarships and opportunities, things like. I also do professional development. If you're looking for something on those lines for your staff or your department, I'd love to come in and work with your group. And once again, this is all free. And then finally, this is my contact information. This is my email address. You had my phone number earlier. I know Lee always sends this out to everyone, so you'll have a copy of this and be able to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any comments, suggestions, good or bad, I don't care. I'd love to hear from you to see if some of these things are benefiting you in some way. Or if you're looking for even more ideas, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm just here to partner with you. I just got home from Seattle for the Washington School Counselor Conference, and Nevada for their School Counselor Conference in Las Vegas, and spoke out there. And I talk to educators all over the country. So I just appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule today to listen to this. Hopefully you got some good tidbits. Thank you, and good luck for the rest of your school year.
All right, thanks, Dr. Coyle. We are now going to open this up for the Q&A portion of our presentation. I'm also going to throw up a poll question. If you would like us to contact you about speaking to your students about the similar information we went over today, please let us know in the poll so that we know who to reach out to. Now, Dr. Coyle, first question comes, this person wants to know where they can go to learn more about Ignite.
Okay, well, I was hoping I'd get that. Yes, please, you can go to our website, but just reach out to me and I can get you all the information that you want. You've got my email address. Please feel free to email me. I would be glad to share more information with you about our upcoming event on March the 15th. And then we will be hosting some events. I believe we have one coming up in Orlando later this spring too. So yeah, we definitely want to get you involved. Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because we actually just sent out an email this morning on your event coming up on the 15th. So I also have that information I can send to you. Okay, now the second question, this person wants to know about GPA requirements. Are there any GPA requirements to come to Universal Technical Institute?
No, there are not. We don't require a certain GPA. I mean, you have to have a high school diploma, obviously, or a GED equivalent is fine too. But we don't require ACT or SAT scores. We put a lot of stock into the personal interview that we do with the student and their families. We want to find out if not only are we a good fit for them, are they a good fit for us? We want to make sure that this is all working for the student and their family. We're going to ask a lot of the questions that a service manager is going to ask you about your attendance, about your work ethic, your professionalism, those kind of things, because those are very important in the industry. Now, I want you to make as good a grade as you possibly can, obviously, but don't blow it off. But no, we do not have any minimum requirements like that.
All right.
Hey, Dr. Coyle, let's talk a little bit about financial aid. I think that's very, very important because we get the question all the time. It usually works from accreditation, which you need to be accredited. You need to be running an accredited institution, either nationally or regionally. Maybe talk about that and then move into federal financial aid, students being eligible. Would that be possible?
Sure. Yes, we are fully accredited and we are Title IV funded. And so by being Title IV funded, we do require the FAFSA to see if you qualify for financial aid. And then what happens is from that, we put together, we assign you a financial aid advisor, and then we put together a package for the student and their families. We work a lot with the entire families. We want to make sure everybody's on board with this, because this is a big undertaking for this student. And we want to make sure that he or her have the support that they're going to need to make this all possible. And then we put together, like scholarships, grants, what student loans they're going to qualify for. If they qualify for a Pell Grant, we'll put all that together into a package so that the student knows ahead of time exactly what the commitment is, what they can do. And then, of course, we talk to them extensively about the TRIP program that, upon graduation, going to work for one of these companies that offers a TRIP package could help you to get, your student loans paid off for you.
Yeah. Well, the next question kind of follows up really nicely. Has to do with cost comparison and program comparison with traditional community colleges or technical schools. UTI is not a community college, right?
That's exactly right. We don't do the same thing as a community college. Oftentimes I get that. Well, you know, what's the difference? You guys do the same thing. You all do the same thing. No, we don't. The community college is going to be more of a general type of education. Not putting them down. It's just different. That's what they do. We do something more manufacturer specific, but there's 3 specific differences that I always point out. Number 1 is time in school. You're going to be at the community college 2 to 3 years. That's just a fact. UTI, you're going to be here 9 to 17 months, and you're out. We don't do spring breaks. We don't do summers off because the industry doesn't. So we try to emulate what they do. Second is the alliances with the manufacturers. We're second to none with those alliances. Yeah, there's some schools that will have 1 or 2, maybe even 3. We have 37. So that's a huge difference. That gives you a lot of opportunities to go to work for a specific manufacturer like a Porsche or BMW or GM or a Ford, someplace like that. And then finally, it's hard to beat the trip program because that is a huge avenue for students to go down to get their education paid for. But as I said in the presentation, there's a catch. You've got to earn that. You've got to be willing to work hard. But boy, if you are, the payoff is huge.
Yeah, Dr. Coyle, that's a great point, because when you have parents and you got adults that are involved in the decision-making process for these students, I mean, one of the first things they're going to be thinking about is, how long is it going to take before my son or my daughter is out in the workforce? And you've laid that out very, very well. Between 9 and 12 months, from the time they start to the time they're out, they're making money, they're contributing. That whole time is money concept, which is, if you want to get out, you got a student that is motivated and focused and really believes they know what they want to do, a school like UTI is a pretty good option for them. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, yeah, it very much is. We're not the school if you're, going, you don't know what you want to do, you're trying to find yourself. We're not the school.
Yeah.
We're for the school that student is committed. That's why we do the personal interview.
Yeah, that's a great point. Hey, Lee, before we close, is there anything else you want to cover?
Nope.
Okay. Hey, let me go through very, very quickly a few logistical matters. The Manage America Foundation has recorded this session and will be forwarding that recording to all the registrants. We've also are placing this session on our website, which I said before was www.imagine-america.org, with very specific download instructions. Really encourage any of the listeners to go back and listen to it again. I always find that I've missed something the first time through, and it's always good to listen to it again. And then finally, Lee is going to be sending out a survey for the foundation about this to solicit feedback on the session and the content, et cetera. We really hope you'll take just a minute or two to respond back to Lee's survey. Before closing, we want to thank the participants, the educators that took their time out of their very busy schedules. We know that you've got competing interests, competing. Thank you for just carving out a little bit of time for us, for Dr. Coyle, for UTI, and for Imagine America. We appreciate it. I'd also like to thank Dr. Coyle for sharing with us today's presentation, and encourage any of you to contact him directly, whether it's the caller that was interested in the Ignite program. There might probably others that might be also interested in more details on UTI or STEM careers. Really reach out to Dr. Coyle. Very accessible guy, very easy guy to work with. Finally, on behalf of the foundation, Emily Doubleday and myself, we want to thank you again and wish you a great day. Goodbye.